Surah Al-Fatiha, and I can do better than the surah, you will say it's failing because it's not meeting the language, it's not meeting the poetic understanding of it, it's not meeting the phonetic,
that's the problem.
the grammatic,
No, you missed
the language. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you would say.
No.
So therefore, nobody can meet your challenge. Nobody can, because you're making sure nobody meets
bring
it.
Shakespeare's work and imitate it.
I can do better than the Quran. I can. I can do much better than the Quran.
Yeah, of course.
I'll explain to you how to pray.
Wait.
When to pray.
Wait.
The Quran doesn't do that.
Wait.
I will tell you why you shouldn't pray to a black stone. The Quran doesn't do that.
Relax.
No, but you have to let me speak as well, brother.
Arrogance is taking over you, right?
Because you are not allowing me speak.
Let me explain to you.
Okay, go for it.
Ring like this doesn't mean you bring my hat.
That's not equatable.
Excuse me. Try to understand what am I saying.
I did
Now,
already.
am I putting constraints or am I putting a condition?
No.
When I say bring something like this ring and you bring this cap. Now, am I putting a constraint or am I putting condition on
That's a condition.
condition? So the Quran gives a condition, bring something like it.
No, I'll explain to you. When you say bring something like my ring, it's a circular, has a shape like that, and it shines against the sun. Those are constraints. So that's what you're doing.
Saying like it.
So can I not bring a verse,
Wait.
a chapter like the Surah Al-Nisa? Sorry, Surah Al-Fatiha.
Wait.
And what is the constraints or conditions?
Wait. So you want to bring something like Al-Fatiha, right?
Yeah, it's simple.
Okay, good. Al-Fatiha has its likeness.
What's its
It
likeness?
has stylistics.
What's the
It
stylistic?
starts with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
I don't believe in that. So I don't need to put it in that way.
Believe it or not.
What do you mean? I'm writing something better. Why would I write it in the same fashion? It makes no sense.
Listen.
It makes no sense.
If you want to make something like the Quran, look at the stylistics. So it starts with harf al-jar, ba. Then a noun, ism. So mudaf ilayhi, bism. Then it has Allah here. Now here, Allah is what? We're talking about the stylistics now. Is Allah a sifa or a badal of this ism now? And then talks about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim in this pattern. You have a pattern from the same linguistic madda, rahm, rahima, rahm, is Ar-Rahman in the patterns of fa'alan and then fa'il. So you have now a grammatical construct, a stylistics. Harf al-jar, ism, which is mudaf ilayhi, and then you have a noun, which is what? A badal, a na'at, a sifa, what do you want to call it? And then you have the na'at of that, the second badal, maybe, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. This is the construct. Let me give you an example of how this pattern is not, even that first line is not matchable even in Arabic language. Because we're talking about bring something like in Arab, because the Quran is in Arabic. The Quran says we have revealed the Quran in Arabic. So you have to bring something like the Quran which is Arabic. If somebody says, Bismil Amir al-Akram al-Kareem, same stylistics. Bismil Amir, in the name of the Prince, al-Akram, the most generous, al-Kareem, the very generous. Now, an Arab-speaking person will say, what are you talking about? We don't speak like this. It's not even eloquent. It makes no sense. You're actually making a mockery of language. Oh, Bismil Amir al-Akram al-Kareem. No, we don't say things like that. So that stylistic pattern is not going to be an eloquent speech even today to the Arabic-speaking person, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. But that's the construct in the Arabic language, and it is eloquent at that time. Even today, no one disputes this eloquence. That was verse 1, ayah 1. Go to Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you will realize what's happening here. It starts with al, definitive particle al, with a hamd, making this all praise. The Arab at that time, we're talking about now to understand this nature, they never used that. Now, hamd, praise, with the beginning of their statement ever with definitive article with al-hamd. They would say hamdan li something and continue. And then it says Rabbul Alameen. The Arab at that time never had in their vocabulary, there was more than one alam. One alam, one word. But here is plural, Alameen. So it's bringing a totally new concepts that they were not familiar with at all. Just like if you go back to the English people in the 14th century and say, oh, look at the effect of globalization. Globalization? What is globalization? They don't have a word called globalization. It's a modern word. So Quran introduces terms which it didn't exist in their vocabulary. So if you're going to bring something like the second ayah of the Quran within Surah Al-Fatiha, you better find a stylistics like that exactly. And yet it needs to be acceptable to the Arabs. The terms that you're going to introduce, which is totally unknown but new now, the linguistic innovation. And it needs to be meaningful and correct factually, because we know there are more than one world today. Many worlds. That's why we're even talking about multiverses. Many worlds. Worlds of jinn, worlds of men, worlds of animals, many worlds, not one world. So, if you're going to bring something like it, you have to bring with this particular stylistics. And I can go on and finish the whole chapter, and you'll realize anyone on planet Earth will not be able to do so, because the stylistics is such in that manner.
Well, my dispute would be that the Prophet was actually challenged not by just himself, that he wasn't literate, he was unable to, as you said earlier and your colleague said, he couldn't read right? Okay, so that means he would have not been able to come up with such magnificence. That's your claim, right? Okay, cool. So in the same sentence, you're also claiming that even though the Prophet was illiterate, he was able to come up with such a language, speak in such a way.
He was given. It was given.
He spoke.
It's not his.
Was it not spoken?
It's not his.
Was it not spoken out of his mouth?
Let me clarify one thing.
But you have to keep it short, otherwise,
keep it short. Once we compare his speech that we find in the hadith, you know what the hadith are, right?
Another man explaining something else.
When we look at the hadith, his statements, we see the stylistics are different than the Quran. And when a scholar of language, literary theory, linguistics, they look at the stylistics, they will say it doesn't come from one individual.
But that was not their purpose to write it that way.
My evidence against what you're saying is this: when the statement of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is examined with the Quranic stylistics, they are totally different.
I accept.
That means the Quran was not his own, because he had his own speech, and the Quran goes outside his stylistics. So it was given to him as he says.
That's what you claim. But at the same time, in the hadiths, it also talks about people who challenged the Prophet, and they came to him and said, you speak like a prophet, like a soothsayer, like a liar. It's irrelevant. It's in one of the hadiths. I don't know the names exactly, because it doesn't go about who are the ashabas of the Prophet. All of the people that were there, that will learn the entire Quran by memory. Do you know it? Do you know it? You don't know it, so you can't ask me that question. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. How many of them were there?
60.
60? Yeah. No, there were more than that. 400 it says in one of the hadiths. And many of them died.
Historical details.
But before we go there, because I know you're cutting me off, don't cut me off, right? I want to get to the point where your disputes
I'm asking for clarification. You can't bring something from history without telling me.
It's in Muslimah, one of the hadiths in Muslimah.
In Sahih Muslim, you mean?
Yes.
What does it say?
It says about those who came to the Prophet and they disputed him, saying that you are a poet, you're a soothsayer. You know what that means? You're a liar. You're a concealer. You speak in such tone.
The Quran then challenged them.
Yeah, exact. No. The Quran then, a verse comes out in exact same wordings that says the Prophet is not that. Right? So it does. One second. No. Allah is so concerned. Allah is so concerned that His Prophet is being seen in such a light. He instantaneously brings about another verse that fights the same wordings that these people use. Why would God care about that? That's the first thing. Second thing. No, it's in the Quran.
I want to address this.
Yeah, but you're gonna address it. But I haven't finished.
The Quran interacts with people at that time directly. When people came saying, "Oh, you brought it something," the Quran says, "Okay, you think it's not from Allah? Produce something like it. You think He forged it? Bring something like it. Or you think He learned it from someone else? Bring something."
Why would He need that? Why would God need to be? Why would God feel like He's challenged? Is God challenged by men?
Listen, it's not that God needs anything.
It sounds like it.
is establishing the evidence against them.
Why?
Because
There's a need then.
the Quran is going to be the guide for the people.
The air doesn't care whether you believe it or not. The air exists.
The air is not God. God is
No, it doesn't matter. I'm saying
So,
even a lower form
the Quran
doesn't care, but your God cares.
The Quran, God cares even to the minutiae of details.
But he never
Because
explained
he's
a lot
Rabb.
of things.
He's the Rabb.
He cares about that one.
The sustenance for everyone.
No, but he cares about that one, but he doesn't care about a lot of other things,
Wait.
like how you pray.
Excuse me. Wait. Do not just shift the goal. You're
I'm not shifting. It's the same context.
You're talking about your inability.
My
The
inability.
human being's inability, the jinn's inability, the creation's inability to bring something like the Quran. So the Quran
Your constraint.
offers a direct challenge. Be a man enough and say, I will find a chapter like unto it if I'm not able to do it myself. No one is able to. Why I'm saying, why are they unable? You don't see the gravity of this challenge.
No, because your constraints.
That challenge dismantles the beliefs,
No, it
crumbles the belief of every single else on this universe. The challenge is so profound, so profound. It obliterates, annihilates every single belief system in this creation.
I doubt
It tells us, if you doubt that this is not from God, produce something like it. To this day, the challenge stands like that. And we are seeing not a single person is able to bring something like it.
But they can't, because you're putting constraints, and your Quran also improves upon the challenge. Why would God need to improve upon the challenge?
God hasn't
Why?
improved on the challenge.
One surah,
I'm not going to repeat that
one
again,
book,
my friend.
10 of them,
gonna repeat that
an
again.
entire. No, because then you have to
Quran gave you
explain.
options for any
If
of
we go there, I'm going to go there too. But I'm just saying to you, however you chronologically you put it, it's irrelevant. There's 3 different challenges.
Same challenge.
No, it's
To
3
bring-
different wordings.
to bring-
So the Quran's wordings are not important.
You're not listening.
Are they not
You're
important?
listening.
I am listening. You're not
Quran
listening,
is
brother.
offering you either of the 3 options.
No, it would have been in the same verse, in the same surah,
End this
brother.
conversation because you're not being very sincere.
I am sincere. You're not.
In my estimation,
I listen to you for mostly, and then when I speak, you cut me off. And when I give you my opinion, you cut me off.
I'm not taking your opinion. This is not from sincerity.
How is
I
that
am
not?
telling you
It's in the Quran.
black and white.
It's in the Quran.
The Quran challenges the Quran.
It's not chronological. Is that your
Let
understanding?
me repeat my statement so you can understand. The
I
challenge
think
of
you're
the
getting
Quran
frustrated
is
now.
that
Yeah, okay.
you have the options of bringing the whole book if you wish. Make the whole book like the Quran. No problem.
I don't need to.
If you want 10
One
chapters,
verse,
if you
one
want-
surah.
If you want 10 chapters, you can do so.
One surah. I just want to do one surah.
One surah.
God's challenge.
So, give me one surah. Let me hear it, and tell me how this is.
Without your constraints. Without your constraints. The condition is bring one like it.
Okay, that's fine. Bring like it.
One like it. That's
Like
the
it,
condition.
Like it.
It's the condition.
Tell me how it's like it. Go on.
It's the condition.
The condition is like
Can
it.
you read? No, because you're Muslim, right? Can you read it and say in English, and I will make it better?
You tell me.
I have to
your
read the Quran then.
Look, your imitation.
So that I can do it better.
I want to hear your imitation like the Quran. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it 7. In the name of the Creator.
Arabic.
Why would I speak Arabic? I don't speak Arabic.
It's not like it.
That's your constraint.
Friend.
But that's your constraint. Do you understand?
That's the end of the discussion, my friend.
Okay, have a good day then. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
It's not any point talking because as I explained, this ring and you bring a cup. I'm sorry, we have to.
Then speak Arabic the whole time. Don't speak English at all.
No.
Because it
Don't
makes no
bring a
sense.
ring. Oh, if you want to bring a ring, bring a glass like it. Bring a
But that's
shoe
just-
like it.
that's just
No.
beyond- that's beyond
This is-
condition.
This is the level
Beyond
of
condition.
your. Hang on, my
You
friend,
know I don't
glass.
speak Arabic.
This is the level of your intellectual capability of grasping the nature of the challenge.
That's not the nature.
That's the level of your
didn't say speak in
intellectual
Arabic.
ability. Your intellectual ability, prowess of grasping the challenge.
Can God speak English?
Even
Can
of
God understand
explaining
English?
A ring, to bring a ring like it, you don't bring something like that. Because even
But that's not the same.
so when I say bring something like it, like the Quran,
You want the exact
Quran is in
detail.
the Arabic language.
Should I bring it in the same metal component?
Quran is in the Arabic
same
language.
metal component.
Excuse me, Arabic language. So I'll give you an
ridiculous.
opportunity one more time. Arabic language.
It's
go ahead.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Okay, that's fine.
That's ridiculous. That's why you can never convert people.
No, it's not
You can never convert people because you are putting yourself
need to
in
convert.
such a manner
People who are
where
sincere,
you're not sincere.
with intellectual integrity.
That condition didn't exist. You just placed it straight away.
One condition.
The minute I came up with a verse, you instantly said you have to speak Arabic.
Similar.
So therefore, you're defeated. You're defeated.
How is your English similar to
You're
Arabic?
defeated.
Hey, listen.
What do you mean?
How is your
English
English
is
similar to
also a language that can explain a lot
How
of
is your
things.
English similar to the Arabic stylistics?
What do you mean? Shakespeare. What do you mean? Shakespeare.
You know what?
Shakespeare has a what?
You know what?
It's okay.
You need to really reflect on more. That's what
Maybe you should.
I do reflect on.
No, you don't. Because you
no,
cut
you
people
tell
off.
me I don't.
You don't because you don't want to speak to me.
I don't want to speak to you.
It's okay.
We have
Have a blessed Allah time.
Hey, nice day.
Yeah.
God, open up your heart.
May God open up your mind. May God open up your ability to understand things. What about the black stone? Why do you pray to a black stone? You're a stone worshipper.
Now the bigotry comes out.
Bigotry.
Hatred and bigotry.
But I'm asking you, why do you? I didn't say you do. I said, why do you?
Hatred you have in your mind.
How's that hatred? How's that hatred?
The intellectual prowess of this individual.
That's just. I feel sorry for you, brother. I feel sorry for you. You don't have intellectuality. You pray to a stone and you can't explain it. Stone worshippers. Who's the